they sure as hell don't represent us here. And we try and speak out against them. And it's thanks to people like your son that we've got the information so that we can more effectively do so. So let's give a warm Chicago welcome to John Shipton, father of Julian Assange.
Welcome to Chicago!
Okay, is that okay? Thank you, Andy. If you could extend me the privilege of addressing you as friends. So, friends, thank you. There's only one road to freedom. There's only one road to freedom, just one. Information, knowledge, brings freedom. That's the only road there is. To take that road, you need to have access to knowledge and freedom. In their wisdom, the founding fathers of the United States Constitution put a brilliant addition, the First Amendment. That is to give us access to information upon which we can make decisions and improve the quality of the polity. Not for just them, the rulers of the country, but for us to improve the quality of our understanding and enable our families and ourselves to make decisions that benefit us, that bring us closer together and enable us to say, yes, that's a policy we can support, or no, that's a policy we don't support, or this is the policy we want and we've analysed it and discussed it amongst ourselves and draw down upon the knowledge that's available to us, and we present it to you, and as citizens insist that you partake of this knowledge that we have brought together in ourselves. The First Amendment gathers us all underneath its wings as a mother hen does its chickens, to protect us, to fight for that. Well, us two Australians wandering around the country shaking our fist saying that this is a wonderful thing. The Australians, every time there's an election, break out in a sweat saying, oh, we want one of those, we want a Bill of Rights, we want the First Amendment. So that civic treasure that you have requires vigorous defence, because it gives this polity insight into its being, and thus and thereby brings together ideas which will fulfill us. Back in the 70s in California, there was a stream of ferment which resulted in now that we all are Californians. We dress casually, we have coffee, cafe latte, we have a glass of wine with dinner or a beer, we address each other without civil formality, and that ferment spread because of its quality right around the world. And the ferment in California in those days depended upon the deluge of information which we could all partake in. It was an extraordinary phenomenon. And you can see that as it's extraordinary and as it had quality, it spread right throughout the Western world. And of course, I don't mean to leave out the others, but just using the Western world as an illustration of the importance of information, discussion and ferment among the populace in order for the the historical ideas which percolate up to be applied and benefited as they have done. The last thing is that the government thereby benefits. Over the last 20 years, they've brought the United States close to ruin. Their strange actions and destructions of 7 countries and the creation, Brown University study, of 38 million refugees. These huge numbers are meaningless to us, except when we say 38 million people are children, mums and dads, uncles and aunties, that have their communities destroyed and are wandering the world seeking a place of succour, rest, and to be again able to flourish. So information and its free flow assists government. I'll make 3 more points if you'll indulge me in a little bit of time. 1. Leaks stop wars.
Yes.
Very important. Leaks prevent and stop wars. An illustration. In the cables that Chelsea Manning alleged to have given Julian, one of the cables was a letter, a cable from the United States ambassador to the Department of State here, which described the murder of an entire family, the mum and the dad and all the kids and the uncles and aunties and extended family. The blood of soldiers gets up. If you send these young men to war, that's what happens. The soldiers, contemplating their horrible, heinous crime, called in an airstrike and obliterated all remnants of that family and that house from the earth. The Iraqi parliament read this cable after it was released by Julian, WikiLeaks, and gathered up their courage and refused to renew the status of forces agreement. And consequently of a leak, a war stopped. Very important. That's what it does. Stops a war. The Guantanamo Bay files. A great American lawyer, Clive Stafford Smith, set up an NGO called Reprieve and used the Guantanamo Bay files to go to Guantanamo Bay and begin freeing men and children. 22 children were in Guantanamo Bay. It's grotesque.
Incredible.
But the release of the files enabled Clive to bring about freedom from those men, and also the government to begin to realise what they have enacted was a depredation on the quality of governance of the United States. And so the movement to close Guantanamo Bay continues to grow, and it'll be closed.
For Putin, man.
And that burden will be lifted off the people of the United States. 3, and this concerns the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom was in charge of the Chagos Islands in the Indian Ocean. The United States Air Force wanted, the Pentagon, let's say. I don't like saying the United States because the people of the United States that we miss as we have this wandering around the world are good people. There's an example that the ambulance is going to pick up somebody who's not well and take them to hospital. These are good people, so I just refer to Washington. Washington wanted an Air Force base and they called it Diego Garcia. The United Kingdom took all of the occupants of the Chagos Islands and dumped them in Mauritius. The Chagos Islanders, after the release of the cables, were able, with their lawyers, to take a case to the International Court of Justice and win. The United Kingdom appealed. The Chagos Islanders prevailed. So there's 3 examples of the importance of leaks to bring justice, stop wars, and to alleviate the burden of bad conscience from the people of the United States and allow the government to right itself. Very important. And so I congratulate you all for listening to my raves, and thanks for your support to bring Julian home to this family.
Woo! Free Assange!
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, Gabriel.